Oh man, I feel like crap. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming through the show. If you're catching this live on the rewind, all that, I really everyone. Um, yeah, I don't feel like crap. I just sound like crap and all that stuff. But I was originally gonna cancel the show today, but I figure we might as well do a little bit of market analysis, research, whatever you want to call it. I got my LA Dodgers hat, the future home of Shohei Otani. I'm just putting up the white flag. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a good morning. Um, yeah, some good news to kind of report or current news. I heard that there's some new Godzilla movie out. Um, I've heard it's got some pretty good reviews. And anyone that thinks that people don't go to the movie theaters anymore, got news for you. Godzilla -1 box office opening weekend blazes to the top 3, just behind 2 blockbusters. I think this is actually going to, with word of mouth spreading so quickly about this movie, even though it's subtitled and all that stuff, I think this is going to do really well in the box office. I think myself and Pickles Nichols are going to go ahead and watch this movie together eventually. But yeah, I'm really intrigued. I think, looking into. Hold on a second. I think going into Christmas season, all that. Hey, what's up, Vika? Thanks for coming through, man. I think this is a really cool property to kind of rise again. They have the Apple TV show obviously coming on Apple. There's the new MonsterVerse movie coming out next year. It's a really well written movie in my opinion anyway, but definitely I really want to watch this movie. It's like I said, people are saying this is like the best like Godzilla movie like in years and yeah, I think that you guys should go watch it. Also, what came out a couple weeks ago, and I've been streaming a bunch of this game on my PlayStation. You guys come through and watch the live shows or the live streams. Modern Warfare 3 just came out. I get it, man. I am freaking addicted to this game. The campaigns are kind of lame, according to some people, but the online play, there's like a zombie mode, which is kind of funny. That's pretty cool. What's on the agenda today? I'll get into that in a second. I'm kind of killing some time until Fedora and possibly Jason gets on the stream. But man, if you guys are playing Modern Warfare, hit me up. I'll add you as a friend, and we can go take out some zombies. I know Marcus and I have been streaming a ton about, or sorry, playing a ton of zombies, trying to level up our character, and then myself, and Trey went in played old school like 5-on-5. Others maybe like 10-on-10, but I suck. I really suck at like getting killed. Like I get my butt kicked big time all the time. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I kind of want. This is going to be a pretty slow show today, but again, kind of our show's kind of geared towards market stuff, and I think there's a lot. I think there's like a lot of talk about buying books on the dip. The economy is getting a little better, or I would say, to borrow, it's getting a little better. I find the older I get, the less I can. Dude, I'm right there with you, man. I probably will get sick of this game in like a month or two, but I do want to play the new Final Fantasy game. Oh, I have it actually. Never mind. What am I talking about? So I'll probably start streaming that just to like show off the levels and stuff. But I get you, man. Totally. I think just my hand-eye coordination just aren't as good as like a 20-year-old's, or I don't pick up on stuff as easily, so it kind of sucks. Hold on one second, guys. Oh, so sorry about that, guys. What's up, Nathan? Thanks for coming through. Yeah, so kind of what I was kind of going back to, like the point of the show today. Was that butt or nose? What do you think it was? um, yeah, I blow my nose really hard, don't I? So like I was kind of saying, and we're waiting for Jason and Fedora to come through. There's a lot of like questions on like whether or not like the comic book market is like dead, or I still collect comic books. I'm trying to find deals on stuff. I think this past, from looking at the numbers of like August and September, I think you kind of missed the boat on those like really rare older Bronze Age books that not necessarily like the first appearance of XYZ main character, but more like the obscure rare comic book, like I don't know, like a 1 in 500 or 1 in 200 variant that was going for like a ton of money and kind of held value, and people just don't want to sell. I think you kind of missed the boat on that, or maybe just even rarer like first appearances that were like short print run, like an NYX3, which I think you can still kind of find in good prices, but like a 9.8 is probably going to go for 1,000 plus versus when it was going for almost as low as, I want to say I saw one go for as low as like 800. I think you missed the boat on that, unfortunately, but to each his own. But yeah, I just kind of took a look at some comic books that of spec characters that either. What's up, man? Yeah, sorry about the earlier kind of notification. Just want to pump a stream out real quick. We probably won't get that many people to watch, but it's all good.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, of course, bro. Oh yeah, I know. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, it is actually. I know. You saw it. You know the shape now of the packages.
Fedora got Fedora's homeless, everybody. So he got some free comic books from the community. They're pretty nice comic books. He posted on the Discord. It was pretty funny. But yeah, kind of what I was looking at was MCU spec.
Like, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying, you're homeless and all. If you were sending you free comic books and like, in the community and shit, right?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Man.
That's my guy Henry.
Did
I know.
Did that come crisp?
Yeah, bro, it's near me. Like it needs a little press because like there's like a little bend, but it's not like it's pressable defect, like easy, Cool. So, bro, like it's crisp, man.
Nice. Listen, I love it.
Third print or bust. Yo, it's raining out here, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, bro.
I mean, that was my roommate telling me that he put the package in front of the door. But yeah, what were you saying?
Oh no, screw the MCU spec on that book, man. I just love that book. I love the character too. So
you know what I didn't know. I was looking at what it was going for on eBay, and it's like the same price as the first print.
Oh, for real?
Like, yeah. So it's
like so weird.
One because we have one at my shop at the other location, and it's like 150, or I think it was in the Queens outlet. I don't really remember, but I saw that we had one for 150, and that's what the third print is kind of going for. So I think it's interesting that the first and the third print are like neck and neck, and then the fourth print, nobody gives a fuck about that one.
Yeah. There's that 1 in 25 Molina that people like too, but I mean, as far as like putting on my wall, and like the print I prefer the most is obviously Null on the front cover, man. I just love that.
Well, they have him on the omnibus of the King in Black too. Yeah, they have the third print cover, and I think.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect like representation of him, right? That's not why I like it. So,
yo, quick question. Whatever happened to Donnie Cates? My son disappeared.
Dude, he had some like injury, got like in a car crash. There's rumors that he was like having like some drug and alcohol issues, but he's just recovering like physically. But yeah, man, I mean, I think he's kind of like when I think of like writers that I followed during the pandemic, he was definitely like the one. And
he's Michael Bay.
He's Michael Bay.
He
He's
is.
Bay. He's Bay.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, someone needs to help that guy find a place to live. Doc Joe. Doc Joseph. Help this man. Help this man.
Yeah, someone help me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm taking more donations.
Oh man, that's hilarious. We got Jason. Hey man, yeah, sorry dude. I had to do this. Oh, all right, see ya. He'll be back soon. Yeah, kind of like the motivation for this list today is a lot of people are, do I buy these MCU optioned or potentially rumored characters to like, at these block random prices, or is it just like, man, you're just, it's kindling, it's like it's fire just to help start your fire or whatever.
Listen,
that's on the list I got going today.
My philosophy on that now is like, I feel like now like MCU, like it don't even push books anymore, man. Like, I feel like in like 2016, like it was getting like, and then I feel like the peak was like 2021, 2021 was like the peak, and then now we're just kind of like everybody's like, yo, do I really want to gamble on this? So I guess we could talk about that.
We're 100%. We're gonna talk about it ad nauseum today for about 50 minutes. So
okay, good.
Yeah. And I'm not. This list isn't to like say you're dumb for buying these books, or like I think this is more of a list of like, man, you kind of just have to cut your losses, right? Like if you bought like, and kind of what it made me think about this list was, I bought a. Are you serious? You're gonna put that shit on my goddamn stream?
Yeah.
Get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here. Anyway.
Nah, it's okay. I just watched them announce all this stuff, and it's a joke anyway. So college football playoffs can get bent.
What was it? What happened?
They let freaking Alabama into number 4.
No way.
Yeah, they cut Florida State even though they're undefeated.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, dude,
what
college football playoffs is trash.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How are you gonna cut out an undefeated team?
I was like, there's at least 3 teams in between Alabama and that spot that I would have taken before Alabama, 100%.
So obviously Texas got
3. So
Texas got in?
Yeah, when Michigan got 1, Huskies are 2. We play Texas in Nolens.
Oh, nice. Sugar Bowl?
So, yeah, we played Texas at the Sugar Bowl, and then they let Alabama into the 4th spot. I'm like, dude, I would have taken Florida State over Alabama. I would have taken Oregon, even though they lost. Everybody's like, they had 2 losses. I'm like, I don't care. They lost to the Huskies twice, and they lost by less than 3 touchdowns. And I was like, Oregon would smoke Alabama, so I would take them. I'm just like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, if you're going to go 1-loss SEC team, just put Georgia back in there.
Yeah, because you know that they're sitting in that room being like, well, we can't have a whole playoff without the SEC. Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's like everybody thinks the SEC is so good. I'm here to tell you right now, people, it's not.
Yeah.
Like the SEC has big name schools, but they don't have the same competition level that the Pac-12 has, period. Like you can talk trash on the Pac-12 teams all you want, but when it comes to competition, hands down the best. That's why nobody gets out of the Pac-12.
I'm with Coach Prime. Coach Prime all the way.
Yeah. I forgot he was there for a second because
I know. It's just like in the background. Okay,
enough of my rant. I got you off track.
No, dude, because I wanted to know, man. That's all good. And yeah, man, sorry. I
didn't know I was like also rushed. I rolled over.
It's all good, man. I was
on the couch and I must have dozed back off because I got up at like 6:30.
Oh, really?
And I rolled over and it was like 9:30, and then that text thread between you guys was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be like, fuck it, we'll just go on right now, and I'll be on in a minute." I was like, "Wait, what's happening right now?" He's like, "Let me get some coffee real quick, splash some water on my face."
my fault, dude. I'm not feeling too good today. No, man. No, that's. I mean, I don't care, man. It's all good. But I was saying earlier in the show, dude, we gotta go see that Godzilla movie like next weekend. If you're down.
Oh, that -1.
Yeah. Can I bring the wifey with us?
Yeah, I don't care.
Are you sure?
We can even go to the Cinnabar or something like that and have a drink too. Unless you want to sit down Oh no, not 10 a.m. I mean, you probably could, but
I mean, come on, Jason, we're not that
mimosas.
much.
I mean, we can make it brunch.
we could do brunch. But you know, yeah, I was talking about the Godzilla show, which I think you'd really like.
Yeah, I got to get back onto my Apple
TV
thing. Well,
maybe I can give you my login. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I have it. Like it's just
okay,
because I was letting my folks finish the morning show or whatever because they use my account.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure that's done. And I got another show I need to watch because like the 3rd season of Slow Horses I saw came out.
Yeah, that's a good show. No man, but like Legion of Comics was like posting a shitload about it, and he's a member of the community, obviously, and yeah, he kind of sold me on wanting to go watch it. So I got my Shohei Ohtani team hat on right now.
You talking about that Monarch show or whatever?
Yeah. Oh no, the movie.
Or your buddy saw the movie?
He was just like, you have to go see it. It's like subtitled, but he was like, I don't even care. Yeah,
I'm so used to watching anime with subtitles.
Yeah.
It's just like what it's like. Yeah. I like to pretend that I actually understand what they're saying. I'm like, oh yeah, I totally heard that before.
Yeah. All you kids back in the day, we had to read them damn subtitles.
I don't understand
animes.
The dub, the sub, and the dub drama.
It looks too weird.
I just watch it.
I just don't like when I go to stream it. It confuses me because I'll see it's like season 1, episode 1, season 1, episode 1, and it's like sub dub, and I'm like, is this gonna get confused and play the same episode twice in a row, just like in Japanese and in English?
Yeah, hella confusing. So yeah, Jason, our show, or Pickles, our show today is basically about. It could have hurt a little bit looking at some of these prices and just kind of going over stuff, but it's all Marvel because I'm just gonna clown on Marvel today. But the purpose of the show is basically to see if whether or not you gotta take your losses or hold on and all that good stuff. So hold on a second. Let me do this. Hold on. There we go. We're gonna present. All right. So I kind of tailor this as like a buy or no or hold kind of show, but this is more so just like, I don't think I'm gonna pick up any of these books except for like 2. So let's go with the first book. So I saw this on a top 10 show. I think it was on Stein's top 10 show, and then Paper Chase Comics actually hit me up, and he's like, dude, have you seen the prices for this old school Black Panther #1? And this isn't the first appearance of Homegirl as Black Panther, but it was like the first cover, right? And
wait, what are we?
Huh?
Who's this?
It's a first. What's her face as Black Panther? But it's just the cover, not her actual first.
Shuri?
Yeah, Shuri as Black Panther.
Well, isn't this or maybe it's up at the top? Isn't this like one of those Dark Rain ones or whatever?
Dark Rain.
Or Black Rain covers. Dark Rain. Isn't that what it says at the top above the Black Panther on the book?
I think you're correct.
Well, because I remember seeing the colored variant of this like a lot before the movie came out.
Yeah. So there's like, this is like the one in like, I think 50 or 100. It's obviously the ratio, and I just found I just couldn't find the picture of the other cover, but yeah, the regular cover was selling for like 500 during COVID, and then even when the movie came out, it kind of held in the 3 figures. $80 sale for 9.8 in the regular cover of this. This book actually went for like $1,600, and I swear to God, I remember seeing this like sell for like $5 to $8 grand. Do you guys remember this cover specifically at all, ever?
I remember the color one. I probably saw this.
How about you? You've seen this one specifically, Fedora?
Everywhere, yeah.
The ratio?
All of them. The ratio, all of them. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were selling it on Whatnot and shit like that.
Yeah. So this is I remember I definitely remember this on like Whatnot, like one of those like Whatnot ratio books that people just had in their collection. I mean, so like Jason and I think, do we go see Black Panther together?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I think we've seen every Marvel movie in the theater over the last. Like anytime I've seen a Marvel movie in the theater over the last couple of years, it's probably been with you.
That's true. So like, dude, I mean, on the initial kind of like run of watching this movie, like I thought it was like really good as far as like story and like Namor being in the movie and all that. It was like a really good movie. Like I think it did its justice, emotionally and all that. Obviously, though, like the prices for the main character of the really good movie dipped big time, whether that be for economic sake or just like just kind of like, well, it was a really good movie, but I don't really have anything else to say about it. So it's like if you're buying, even if a movie hits and you have that book, it's not going to hold for whatever reason. I didn't feel the inclination to go out and buy a bunch of Shuri Black Panther books after I saw the movie. I think I was more interested in Namor, but yeah, after seeing the movie, which is amazing, by the way, I just didn't have any inclination. What are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts?
I think like you're spending like $8,000 or even like almost $2,000. Like you could just buy the first appearance of Black Panther at that point because it's gonna hold more value. Like I remember seeing advertisements for that book when it was coming out, and I don't remember anybody ever really caring about it.
Yeah,
but I think like if you're gonna spend that much money on a book, you just get the first appearance of the character at that point.
Yeah. And Jason, were you ever on the hunt for any Shuri books back in the day? Like even after you saw the movie, let's use that as kind of a barometer.
Not really.
Yeah.
Like she's a cool character and everything, and I get why they went that way with the movie of making her the Black Panther. Spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it in the last couple of years. But like, I know that they're. I get why they went that way, but also in my mind, kind of like thinking or knowing maybe where they're going, especially with knowledge now that they're going to like Secret Wars and all that. It's like, how many Black Panther iterations are we going to get? Because they can bring back a male Black Panther at this point. So how long are they going to continue with Shuri? And is she going to be like a major character? But for me, as far as like collecting long term, I wasn't like looking to buy it to hold on to it or anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh man, like I really love that movie, I need to buy.
Yeah, she's like a cool character.
Yeah,
she's funny and she has her wits about her and stuff like that. I like the character, but I don't want to buy the book to
hold in. Just like, I mean, screw the investment part. It's just more of like I want that book because I saw she did so on the movie. Real quick to answer Hi Nathan's question. I remember they spiked like a month or two after his death because remember the writer for Black Panther like wrote Black Panther 2 with Chadwick in it, so he had to rewrite everything. He says it's very emotional, like strenuously, like tough thing to do. And yeah, I mean, he essentially wrote Shuri in as Black Panther. But yeah, I remember like just everyone was saying like, well, now that Chadwick's passed, like 2 months afterwards, like what's going to be the future of Black Panther? Because
Tosin.
I almost put him on the list, and I was like, no, this is actual MCU stuff we got to talk about.
I was gonna go crazy. Yo, if you put, I would have went crazy.
Well, it's weird how quickly that character disappeared too. Like it was like in and out, like super quick.
He was like, I don't even like. He's like that first overall pick that everyone was hyped on. He had like a really good first game. No, dude, I'll call Tosin Jeremy Lin. That's he was Lin Sanity. Dude, remember how
he was not Odin?
Well, Odin didn't like.
He like got drafted. Wasn't he? Didn't he get drafted like first overall and then just like was hurt every single year? It's just like I don't think he played like 5 games.
I know, dude. He was so good too. He was so good.
Or Jamarcus Russell. Remember him with freaking the Raiders?
He's $70 million, dude. That was like the worst overall pick of all time. Yeah,
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, 70 million. Because remember contracts back then for like rookies.
Yeah,
were
he
like,
got guaranteed that. He showed up to training camp like 20 pounds overweight, and it wasn't like muscle weight. He was all
dude,
fat
he was
shit.
so
I was
fat,
like, what
dude.
the hell?
Yeah. Dude, that was
Raider
freaking
Nation,
hilarious.
baby. Woo!
Woo. So yeah, so I would say the one thing for that would keep this kind of like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to it, is if specifically any of these variants are like, and this is like this would just have to be pushed by like social media or just like the top money in comic books. If people deem this as like a top 10 J. Scott Campbell variant to get, that's the only thing that's going to push this book in the future. Shiri could be freaking Iron Man, in the next 5 to 10 years as far as like notoriety. It's not going to push this book up, and it's obvious because the movie did so well. So anyway.
Well, it's like I'll see those lists and stuff like that. I'll see them like weekly, and they're like, "This is what's moved up in the top 10 list." And sometimes I see books, and I'm just like, "What the fuck brought that up in the list?" Like why all of a sudden is that popping up? Like, was there something I didn't hear about? That now all of a sudden that book is super popular.
Yeah, and nowadays you have to like think about like, well, it's not just like movie spec that. I mean, that's the easy thing to push something up, right? Story, which Fedora is always is on it. Like that's like kind of the primary thing nowadays, right? It just kind of like from what I've seen recently. Here's a comic book that I found like 4 copies of this book, man. I remember I sold this one for like $90, and dude, it was like a 9.0 raw. Sam Wilson, Captain America 3, first appearance of Joaquin Torres, who later is the Hawk Falcon thing. I don't know. He showed up in the show, and everyone was stoked about his character. I personally thought he was a pretty cool CD character, that kind of deal. But do 10 to 15 raw, you might get $100 for this in 9.8. It's a really tough 9.8 regardless. The cover doesn't really do anything for me. But I think people are again, hoping that either a preview comes out of the new the new Captain America movie, or he's going to be, or the Joaquin Torres is going to be introduced into new things. But I think this is a comic book that people probably bought pretty high, and now they're just like, screw it, I'm just going to try and get as much money I can back out of this. I've sold a few copies of this in 9.8 for like $350, $300, $275. I got one more left.
Damn, bro, you robbed them.
I mean, I just let the market set itself, man. I don't do buy it now prices or nothing like that. I just let the market do its thing. But I've been robbed too, so
I've been robbed too once and never again.
I get robbed daily of sleep. Just kidding. Man, have you guys ever had this book before?
I've seen it.
Yeah,
but I don't.
Seen but not owned. No.
Have you ever like been like, oh, dude, I want to get that key. That's a cool.
But
book.
See, I wouldn't have bought it like knowing it was a key. I would just bought it being like, I like that werewolf on the cover.
I was gonna say you like the werewolf.
Who's I don't know. I just realistically can't see somebody like, oh, I need to own this. I need to own it.
Yeah.
Like I'd have been like flipping through boxes and seen it and been like, ooh, I like that werewolf. That's a cool looking cover, and then just bought it because of that. If it was like a decent price, if I was like, it was like $5-10, be like,
I would have been flipping through boxes and passed by it. Like,
thank you, Mexican.
It would just say Cap Wolf on it, so I'd be like, yes, I want a Captain America werewolf. How does that work?
There's an actual newsstand in New York City that has a long box full of newsstand comics from like the early 2000s. But I don't know, like, so I was like, I don't got the time to go through all that. It's in Union Square, so whoever's in New York City.
Oh, you know what, guys? I'm so sorry. I've been missing the chat, and the chat is cracking me up here. Maxon says Greg Onan is more accurate. Okay. Very nice. I like it. Worse than Ryan Leaf. I would say the fact that, Ryan Leaf was more like intriguing because he was such a freaking nut job. But I would say Jamarcus Russell is worse because he was the first overall pick. And just the second.
I don't think he ever played.
Thing.
Didn't they cut him like straight away that season, or did he stay on the team for a bit?
He played a little bit, but he just I mean, he's the first overall pick. You know, he just didn't have any numbers, period. But that is very debatable. I do appreciate that. Maxon says, did you all hear the Jamarcus Russell story regarding him studying tape? Oh, man, yeah, I think I did. It's like hella funny. Jason, do you know anything about that?
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
I can't remember it. And Vika, this is a really good statement too. And I've thought about this the past year. Yeah, I don't know if any books should be held. Main people who watch movies are millennials. Gen Z is showing little to no interest. And yeah, I think it's obviously, like, I don't anticipate me next stop collecting comic books, but I'm definitely looking at my 5 boxes of graded comic books and thinking I need to consolidate that a little bit and just kind of get rid of stuff. It's just too much stuff to hold on to. And so I think for me, I got to look at something and be like, I have to either be okay with holding this for 20 years and put it on my wall and being like, oh, that was a good time. Or if I'm not, I got to get rid of it. And that's kind of my approach right now.
Yeah,
what's up?
I don't have a spare. I need like just a spare room dedicated to the comic book stuff. And I don't have that right now. I was like looking at my boxes and like I'm moving them around and stuff because they want to, like for like Christmas and all that stuff, decorating and having people over. I'm just like, I can't have this stuff laying everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's for me. Right.
I mean, I can have it laying everywhere, but I don't want to ask questions when they come over. Be like, what is all this stuff? Be like, don't.
I got you. I got you, Maxon. I got you on that. Hi, Nathan, with the Go Cougs, baby. That's right.
Who told me to what? Find the Uncanny X-Force? What we looking at?
Uncanny X-Force new stands for Remender, if you don't mind.
Oh,
we'll do it, man.
I'll go back there.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that now.
Yeah, dude.
So you said blank tapes. I was like, oh, that's right. They like sent it back, and he was like, oh yeah, like fucking looks pretty good. Like maybe I would do this. That's like what?
Dude, can you imagine if they're like, please say you watch him. Please say you watch him, and then like, anyway.
I would just looked at him and been like, where do you get your stuff? Because I want some. Like, what are you on when you're watching that blank tape?
It's so funny, man.
He's probably in there watching like reruns of Taxi or some shit.
So Comics and Braves, thanks for coming through, man.
I used to watch that show when I was a kid.
Yeah, man.
Taxi was awesome. Well, I watched all the shows that my dad would watch. And so like all the shows that people say are boring, like I always see those memes where like they're like, this is when we would turn the TV off and it's like the start of the MASH theme song. And I'm like, no, dude. I was like, I used to watch that show with my dad all the time. Like that was hilarious.
I think Wonder Years is like a favorite of mine. I mean, that's not really like an old show that my parents watched, but I just think of like an older show that seems kind of boring to kids now, which is actually really, really good.
When I was a kid, when I used to wake up on Saturday mornings, I used to turn on the TV, and if I heard "so," I would like slam the controller on the floor because that meant that I missed all the Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, that's right.
Did anybody put the tape in for me?
So, dude, when I was
like Don Cornelius or like whoever, like I was like, fuck, dude.
So when I was a kid, my thing was, I'll get into the next slide after this. I had to get woken up at like 3 o'clock because it was back-to-back Transformers and G.I. Joes. And if I missed it, I was so fucking bratty, man. I'll admit that on air, like legit. But man, the Saturday morning cartoons and the Saved by the Bell episodes, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Okay, anyway.
Well, we had like great blocks of like cartoons and even just shows like growing up.
It's really, I can't think of anything that would ever surpass any of those shows.
Like I remember like even just like stupid little blocks where they had an hour of Addams Family followed by an hour of the Munsters. And I was like, yes. Like,
yeah. Yes, Munsters, yes, as well. Vika says Invincible is really hitting, and yes, dude. From the first comic book that came out for Invincible, those print runs are so low. So you can find a collection of like Invincible comics for like 1 through 100 for, I would say like $200 to $250. Perusing the interwebs, man, grab it because like those print runs are so low.
I also think like maybe we should look into like books that have that Invincible / The Boys vibe. Because I've been like convincing a lot of like the younger customers that we have to buy the Irredeemable compendium, and like we're talking about like kids that are like 18, 19 years old.
All those teenage kids, man, those like junior and seniors in high school, man, they dig that show, dude.
Yeah,
It's big time,
Which
man.
show?
That is that stuff. Invincible.
Oh,
we
I still
we've
haven't
sold
started
out of
season 2 yet.
Invincible, so
I bet
I
you
tell
have.
people, I was like, "Yo, we don't have Invincible, but we have something similar called Irredeemable." And then
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
"What's that?" And then I tell them, and I'm like, "Look, it's $60, but this is the whole story for $60, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna get an entire story for $60. Like, you're just
Yeah.
not. Like,
Yeah,
you go to Marvel compendiums, and it's like 125.
it's low risk, man. Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah.
you know, I think maybe books like Irredeemable, Transmetropolitan, Sweet Tooth. I think, like, in my opinion, those might be the books that Gen Z would want to invest in 20 years from now.
Well, you know what we
Because
should do? Hold that thought. We should do a Gen Z show, and that'd be cool. You can do the slides. I'm just kidding. You actually, honestly, like, he might be, Fedora might be a better resource than me with Gen Z stuff. I try like with like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, all those kids, and like they just think I'm like old dude.
they come into the shop all the time. There's a few kids.
Yeah, that's
who
good
have-
stuff. Yeah.
There's like 18, 17-year-old kids that are reading, that are
I
coming
agree.
frequently, that have pull lists. So we're always talking up shop or whatever, and they're more into like the kind of like the image indie kind of stuff. The ones that are like really into it don't really. They read a little bit of Marvel, but they're more interested in like properties similar to Invincible, The Boys, because those are the things that are getting them into comics, like Invincible and The Boys. So they want more stories like that, from what I know. So maybe a show like that might not be a bad idea.
True. Yeah, no, it's a good feedback, and kind of what it's kind of like the money's moving from like this stuff to that. So next, actually on my list, I wouldn't mind buying this book, having it for a few years, and then being like, I'll get rid of it. But I really like this, what Haley Steinfeld, whatever her name is doing with this character. It's one of the shows that I watched a couple times over. Haley Steinfeld, I'm sorry. Hawkeye #1. This isn't her first appearance. This is like the first cover. But I dug this whole entire comic book run as well. Last 9.8 sold for $66. Back in the day, this would fetch you at least like $1.25. And that's post after the show came out too.
$66. That's pretty good.
Pretty low, right?
That's pretty good for a character that they're like pushing.
Yeah, I mean, and spoilers if you haven't seen Marvels yet, but basically Kamala goes in trying to recruit her for the next iteration of Young Avengers. So if you're playing that, kind of deal, this isn't a bad entry point in my opinion. But I put this on there. And I don't think it's her first cover either. I just used this one. I didn't want to do the first appearance because we had the first appearance of her on the slides, but I just use this one as a barometer because of the price point. But man, I think if you're a Hawkeye character, especially obviously this one, I'm down for $66 on this one. I'm not trying to make too much money on it. It's more of a collection for me, but I don't know. I dig this character, point blank. And I think this is one of those books that after the show came out, it didn't dip like hard. It definitely I think people just like offloaded them as the show came out. However, it held value for like a little bit after the show. I think it's dipped quite a bit just because there hasn't been a lot of focus on her. Like there's no new show coming out. We don't really know. That definitely
There's no new books that I see of.
Yeah, so I almost forgot about this book, and then I remembered, right? So that's probably what's hurting this book, honestly. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I dig the book. I like the cover. The cover actually reminds me a lot of old Audrey Hepburn movies, like the style that they used to have on the covers of her movies or her movie posters.
Yeah.
So I dig that about it. I like the character too, because like you said in the show, her and the interaction between her and Yelena, was some of the best stuff of the show. Like their back and forth, their conversations, even their fight scenes and stuff like that, where they're like going at it hard, but like not, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's that mutual respect between the two of them. But yeah, I dig the show. I'd like to see her move forward with the character doing something, whether it's in the movies, in a show sometime. Like, I don't know what they have planned for her other than the fact, like you said, it seems like they're setting her up to come in.
The last run that they did for her was really good too. I remember reading it. The one where she was on the beach chair with her dog. That was one of the covers that I really liked.
Yeah, that was cool.
And so, I mean, the last one that they did had a lot of really, really beautiful covers, and it was a really good story. So, I'm wondering if that comes back into trade, paperback, if people would be more interested in the character.
Yeah. No, a really good point. Yeah, all these covers were just really cool. Like even like the 3, like when I was hunting for like the run, because I was trying to read the whole series, I was like, man, these covers are so good. Anyway, what's up, Comments and Tortillas? Welcome to the chat, man. Cover is clean, and I love it. And
like I think I've got book 3 or 6 or something like that in this run, but the variant where they're sitting on top of the building or whatever.
Yes. Oh my god, that book was scored for like 75 in the pandemic, man. Oh my god. And E2 Comic Clutch says Haley in the show is annoying. I guess I could see that because honestly, me, like, I think Kamala Khan is kind of annoying sometimes, but I think it's just me, like, being an older dude, like, shut up, you fucking like little brat. But I could see as Haley's kind of like her that style of comedy can be annoying with some people. I personally am kind of like, I can take like little bits of it, but like, after a while, yeah, it is kind of annoying. So,
cool. That was in little 45-minute shows.
And AT Comics says, "Yep, she's annoying too."
Until she's like getting her like ass handed to her by Kingpin.
Exactly.
Which I love because that was the first time you actually got to see him with the true power of the Kingpin. Like,
I know.
They made him like powerful in the old show, and I commend them for what they did with the character because he did toss him around. But Marvel took his power to where it should be at like an all new level when he ripped that freaking car door off and shit. I was like, yes. Yeah. I was like, finally, you're getting to see the power of the Kingpin.
Yeah. You have to do that. I mean, seriously, you have to do that.
Because he was like tossing her around like a rag doll. Like he looked like he'd have the power to like kick Captain America in the chest and like put a dent in a car that he flew into or something like that. Not that he fights Captain America often, but you know.
What?
It was the first character that popped into my brain.
No, yeah, I know.
I was like, he could take it. It's like Daredevil might hit and be like, he broke like 5 ribs.
Yeah. It's hilarious. Invincible Iron Man number 3 variant. This is the first time that what's her face? Riri becomes Iron Man. I was so disappointed in the Iron Man or the Riri Ironheart costume. I thought it was so corny in the movie. I think they should have not introduced her in Black Panther. I think that was a really bad move. If you're gonna introduce her into the MCU, I didn't like the actress that played her. She was like too excitable. I don't know. Versus like the actual story of her in the comic, she's not very like she's kind of a torn character, like who's gone through a lot. And I just didn't get that vibe from the actress. Whether or not she's a bad actress or the role wasn't written very well for her. Like I think they just really made her seem stupid.
I just think they wanted to shoehorn as many like first characters as they could.
Yeah, and this was my last worst buy of the COVID era. I probably paid about $600 for this book in 9.8, and I was gonna flip it like right before the show came out, and I just missed my window. Now I'm sitting on like a $400 loss for sure, and yeah, and that's what I was like kind of torn with. I was like, do I not like the actress or just like she wasn't directed well? Yeah, and it does suck, but I'll take an L because I've had a lot of wins, right? You got to have more W's than what's that? 56%, right, Mariners? 56%, right, Jason? Jerry DePotos. Remember, he's getting all that flack because he aims for that 56% like win percentage.
Oh,
and he got flack for it.
It's like, well, you have to spend some money now, DePoto.
Yeah. Yeah, kill me all you want, guys. I made a really bad choice on this guy. Fedora, what do you think about this cover? The cover's cool. I like the cover, and I was excited about
I
potential,
think
but obviously,
I think a lot of her covers are like really nice, right?
Mhm.
I know we got like a lot of Minton exclusives that are really nice.
Yeah.
I think J. Scott Campbell might have did one. We had like a lot of them, and they still sell pretty well, very regularly.
Oh, that's cool.
And this one is like no different from like the other ones. It was really good.
Mhm.
I just think that I feel like we kind of have to stop investing into like the new gen era.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm not saying that the market will never be there, but I feel like at this point it's gonna take another like 20 years to get these kids to
And they
like
may never
buy
ever do
these.
it. They
Yeah,
may
no,
never ever get there.
it's hard to like make a new character and have it reflect the price. So
Yeah, and that's okay.
no, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at other markets, right? Like NFTs, man, like 99% of NFTs are just like they're zero. That's that 1% that's worth a lot. Comic books, it's not that bad, honestly. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm gonna take a pretty big hit on this. I'll probably sell it and just take the
I mean,
loss on the business
even me, like I took a loss on a first appearance of a character that has been around for like 40 since the 70s.
Yeah.
So even like what Sabretooth, Iron Fist 14, like even
Mhm.
that didn't hold as good as it should have during the pandemic. Like I paid 400, and now it's way below that.
And
So
you still I think you stop. You're probably in a better situation than like someone with this book, like myself.
oh yeah, no, for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? So like, and comic collector, man, you are coming in with some like really good stuff, man. I appreciate you with the comments. And yeah, I agree with this. They're rushing a lot of these characters just to see. I think, and I feel like they're throwing darts at the dartboard. I'm just like, oh, well, if she doesn't hit, we'll put all this press. We'll get a new actress to play her. We don't know if there's like a real following, but let's see what happens. And then, oh, we'll just take her off. Well, that sucks for people that have this book. Obviously, Marvel doesn't give a shit about comic book collectors. Why should they?
No,
And
they don't.
you know what I mean. So, and they're not in the business to do that. They're in the business to. I think. Okay, this is like soapbox. I'll get off. And real quick, I just want to thank all 12 Live for coming through. It was a little wonky this morning. I'm hungover from my sister's birthday last night. But if y'all could hit that like button, subscribe, tell all your friends. We're almost at 500 subs, so it's been a grind for sure. And I want to thank Pickels and Fedora for coming through and dealing with this dumb
I
41-year-old
was
every
playing
day.
Dead
So,
by Daylight.
oh, was it dope? Was it good?
I was playing the new Chucky character.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't. They got the skin for you could play as Tiffany,
Oh,
Chucky's girlfriend. So I bought that, but that one was like $20. I was like, what the fuck, bro?
yeah,
But I
yeah.
bought it anyways because I didn't want to I don't want to play as Chucky. I mean, yeah, whatever.
No, no. I was like, I was trying to picture that in my head. I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Jason probably digs that, right?
Yeah.
Jason, you like Chucky?
Yeah, I used to watch those movies when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt-
Well, you know what? Chucky first appearance might not be a bad buy right now.
Max Sin, dude. Yeah, dude. We'll get into that one too, man, in a little bit. Comics and Trees says, laugh out loud. Look at Spider Boy. They push a whole new character, whole new Sinister Six new character, which I don't think will be worth a lot of money later on. Yeah, for sure.
I think Spider Boy has potential. I just don't know what the fuck they're trying to do with him.
And Michael Baker is going to donate a slab for the 500 sub giveaway. So appreciate that, man. Yeah. So I would say I don't think there's any comic collectors that are liking Riri because one, she's not in any new reads. Black Panther was a great movie, but I think a lot of the overall sentiment is that the character bond. But anyway, so let's see. I messed up on this buy. Here's another one that I think is intriguing because it hits two fan bases, right? Marvel and Star Wars. So first appearance of Cad Bane, easily the most badass freaking bounty hunter that was ever introduced into the Star Wars live cinematic universe.
Then he went out like no.
And he went out like fucking Null. He went out like Darth Maul. Supposedly there's a series, like a prequel series coming out for him.
You get the fuck out of here. I mean, like, why would they? Now they're just trying to be like, oh, we know we fucked up, but here's the prequel. Like, get out of my face.
Why did they kill him off? Like, why do you do that? Like, why would you do that? So dumb.
Well, especially if you have any plans with the Boba Fett stuff going forward. Like, I have no idea where Filoni's going to go with everything now that he's kind of taken over. Mm-hmm. But like,
I don't even watch Star Wars like that, and I'm like, why?
Well, because I just remember it was like a weird, like, they introduced him live in the Boba Fett show, and I get it because him and Boba Fett have their history, and like they used to butt heads and yada yada yada, like the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, etc. But like, it just felt weird bringing him in and introducing him in the show, like
just to mob him.
Yeah, like I was like, you could have brought him in anywhere else and had him be like a character that you just kind of toss around, like Bo-Katan. Like, she's kind of popped into different shows, and I'm pretty sure she'll do the same going forward. Like, you could have done that with Cad Bane and had like a really good kind of anti-hero kind of play out before our eyes, because people love the character.
So Maxon says, suppose he's not dead, and they confirmed he will return.
Suppose,
so, man. You know what?
They're gonna insult my intelligence now.
I know.
Oh, he's not dead.
You know, and like that was like so.
They did bring Boba Fett back from the Sarlacc pit after like
that's
40
true.
years.
After 40 years, they did bring him back. That's right, dude. So when I watched the Mandalorian show after that episode, and I've never done this before, I actually didn't buy it, but I bid up a bunch of Cad Bane first appearances after the character showed up, right? And people were specking on this hardcore. But I remember when he showed up after that episode, that book shot up like, I want to say 30 to 40%, which I can't think off like recent memory of a character actually showing up versus being mentioned.
I have that book.
Dude, I want this. This is a book that like I would definitely want at the prices it's selling. This sells probably 80 to 109.8. There's a ton of different. If you want to do cover buys, you go for Darth Maul 3, right? The yellow cover.
This is a good cover too. Too.
It's a good cover, yeah, for sure.
I bought it off the rack when it first came out.
Are you serious?
I was a huge Darth Maul fan. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't really read Star Wars, but I read the first two, and I was like, the writing in this is garbage. And then I was all right, next. So then when this book was going crazy, I'm like, why? This book was terrible. I don't know anything about Star Wars, so I don't really know. Again, I only read Star Wars Bounty Hunters. Shout out to Ethan Sachs. And I don't really like. I was completely out of the loop as to why this was. And then I knew Cad Bane was in the show because my friend was talking about it and he showed me, and I'm like, all right, he got mobbed. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but, dude, that scene, man, like from an old school Western style like filming was just like cinema at its finest, right?
And everybody watched all their money go down the toilet when he died. Like it was like watching like real time.
Yeah, because that week afterwards, man, he died, right? But that in between week, man, that first appearance of Cad Bane like shot up, and like I think the one thing with Mandalorian or Boba Fett, I'll just use Mandalorian as kind of example. Mandalorian does a really good job of setting a character up, because remember in was it season 2 Mandalorian? I feel like that season really like pushed comic books in general. Ahsoka shows up, she mentions Thrawn, and everyone went nuts for anything Thrawn for like 3 years, and it held. Those Thrawn books held for a long time. I haven't looked at Thrawn books lately. I probably should have put a Thrawn book on here just because he showed up. But that's one thing that the Star Wars, I think, universe has done really well, is like hinting at a character and then introducing them like 2 to 3 years later, which I think is pretty cool. Remember Asian female bounty hunter had her gut ripped up and healed?
I don't watch Star Wars. I don't know.
I don't.
He's talking about the first season of Mandalorian. I forget her name. The chick that.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, now I remember.
Leaves her in the desert or whatever, and then she's like Yeah.
She's good to go or whatever. Yeah, I remember.
I'm with Boba now.
Dude, Jason, I'm shocked that you didn't want this cover. I'm not
I
shocked.
do, but not for the prices that it was going at when I was looking at it.
Yeah. It's a dope cover, man, for sure.
It is.
This is one that I laugh at. Marvel .1 first appearance of Sam, aka Nova. Dude, remember Jason? Remember that shop over in South Seattle, Burien?
Mm-hmm.
This dude had 50 copies of this book that he bought for like, I don't know, like, it was like this huge like acquisition he did, and they were all mint, like all minty. He was selling these for like $50 to $75 a pop, and he literally got them for $1. I bought 3 of them, pressed 9.8, sold them for like $250 to $300, and I was like, man, maybe I should hold on to them. Glad I didn't, man. This is and Sam hasn't even showed up yet as the first Nova, right? So a 9.8 though this past week sold for $78 for this book.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to talk about here.
Yeah, man. I mean,
dude, that drop is crazy.
I wouldn't even buy Nova. I think also I think what this MCU shows are telling us is that like these characters are definitely not resonating with like older generations, right? I don't think they're resonating with like younger either.
They're moving. Listen, the younger generation. So this is my theory.
Mm-hmm.
All the kids that grew up with Marvel, like obviously like the people that were spending money on Marvel, we're the older guys, so we like Captain America, we like Thor, we like all these other people, we like the characters we know. The younger kids already are old enough to not give a shit kind of about the new characters that they're trying to introduce to them. So now they're moving on to Invincible, The Boys, Why the Last Man, for an example, as to one of those shows that they're watching now. Like, they outgrown the MCU and they kind of want something more mature. Like, they're like 18, 19, 20 right now. So they're like, oh, this Invincible shit is nothing like the MCU. The Boys is nothing like the MCU. So I think the market is going to shift to these like really like indie mature adult books, and maybe they could kind of like get like the Gen Alpha kids with these new characters into the MCU. I don't know, but then you gotta imagine, like, you gotta keep in mind like the same like 8-9-year-olds, if James Gunn's DC universe pops off, they might be all going over to DC because that's going to be what's popping when these Gen A kids are like Gen Alpha are going to start going up, because they might be going to see Superman, they might be going to see Batman, they might be going to see, I don't know, Batman Brave and the Bold and shit like that. So that's just my theory. I don't know, like, all these new characters are like uninteresting to me, like Nova, all that. It's whatever. I'm done ranting.
And no, man, you're good. I think that's yeah. I mean, we're probably repeating ourselves, here and there, but the data shows it too, right? I mean, why? And Max Sin, yeah, dude. I think I said this on. I think I said it on previous shows. Like, the reason Disney acquired Marvel was not to cater to like I wouldn't even say millennials, honestly. It was more to cater towards Gen X, because they were missing that segment of the consumption of entertainment. They were killing it with like little kids and like older people, but like the male from 25 to 40, they weren't hitting on it, so they acquired Marvel. Now it's like, oh, why don't we just use this this content to garner towards an audience that maybe wasn't really into Marvel in the first place, right? Or at least on a huge basis. I really hope that the CEO who's in place again, Bob Eisner, kind of goes back to the basics, and it sounds like he's doing that. I don't know, we'll see, but kind of to go focus back on this comic book. I can't think of a kid wanting to see a space movie with a Nova character that's going to be corny and like kind of goofy, they're going to resonate more with like a Groot. That's a Gen Z character that they should put more emphasis on. And I say that because kids for Halloween were dressed up as Groot. They weren't dressed up as like Nova or Kamala Khan. And that's kind of, I think, my barometer when I see there are kids dressed up as Spider-Man and Miles, right? Or Spider-Gwen. Like, those are the characters that they really need to feed on. They don't need to introduce all these other characters and like, whatever. So
Spider-Punk.
And Spider-Punk is up there too. So, okay, we're almost done with our list today. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming through. Hit that like button. Again, we're almost at 500 subs. Support some of the peeps in the chat here. Comics and Tortillas, man, he's almost at 1,000. Man, I remember when I first watched his shows, he was like 120 subscribers, and he's doing some really good work. So go out and support him as well. And thanks again. Contest of Champions #1. I posted on my Instagram a tweet from a reliable source that Shang-Chi 2 is coming out and the Agents of Atlas are coming. Well, you all know how much I love Swordmaster. You all know how much I love Wave. You all know how much I love Agents of Atlas. I chose this. I couldn't find the actual cover I was looking for, but Contest of Champions 1. First appearance of White Fox. She's part of the Agents of Atlas. This book, the variant was going for like 100 to 250 raw. It's dipped down quite a bit. I think it's a beautiful cover anyway, but it's not going for it. I mean, it still goes for pretty good money. If Shang-Chi is going to introduce a bunch of Southeast Asian characters, this might be a book to pick up for really cheap. She might resonate. I think if they cast her really very well, I think she'll resonate with the Southeast Asian community, not so much like Generations. But if you look at that fan base, it's not just one generation. It's like the whole, like it's a continent as a whole, right? She's Korean, so if they do a really good Korean actress, I mean, I think she can do it. This book might do really well. The cover A goes for like 8 to 10. It was going for like 25 back in the day. 9.8s go for under $100. That's probably a little rich for my blood because it may take a while for Shang-Chi to come out to theaters. I don't even know that like a schedule.
Like 2026 or some shit like that.
You got some time. It's gonna take a long time. But
because they're not releasing anything 2025, right?
I don't know.
We might see Shang-Chi to 2026.
Yeah.
So it's plenty of time to get it. When people are like when people completely forgotten about the news.
Yeah.
It'll probably dip back down, and you could probably get it.
And it's total spec vibe, right? For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jason,
I don't think it's a bad one.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get it cheap, right? Find it in back issue pins or just like negotiate for a cheaper price, why not? The cover A is a lot better, and the variant's the one I would go for just for like namesake. Jason, have you ever tried to find this book?
This is actually the first time I've seen this cover. And it's
cover
probably got
B.
different covers, so I'm gonna say yes, I probably have seen.
Yeah, this is the cover that this is the cover that I would prefer to get. I just think it's a beautiful cover.
The one that you're showing right here, right?
Didn't we see the one in the one that was like $750 or some crazy shit like that? It was like a ratio, and we were talking about it, and I'm like, why would they pay for that?
It's this ratio right here.
Let me see. Blow it up, because I've seen it in the shop before.
Oh, my bad.
I've seen it. Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a 1 in 25. I think it's a really cool. I mean, this is like if she hits off, man, and you get this for like $50 to $55. I think this is a good investment to put in your back issues and all that. I like it. I hang on to for sure. What do you guys think? Do you like this cover?
No.
No, it's all good.
I mean, I like that White Fox is on it, and that's her first appearance. So
yeah,
if you really think the Agents of Atlantis are going to show up, which they probably might, because Shang-Chi's Asian, they want more Asian characters. So I think there's like a good chance.
Yeah.
I just don't know about no $100. You give them a buy it now for like
no,
$50.
there's no way I'd pay $100. It's too much risk. There's too much risk in that. They're pitching this. If people are pitching like a book like this for $100, they're pitching this on the fact that not so much it's. Yeah, I mean, you have to factor in that this is a wanted cover for comic book collectors, and I just don't think it's that. But for 45 to 50, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a $50 is not a bad price.
Yeah. And then Thor number 617. Y'all forgot about Kid Loki. I know the Loki series came out earlier. There's speculation he's going to be part of the Young Avengers. I don't see it happening. But
who comes up with this shit?
Dude, man, here's something funny about social media. So there's all this talk about Shohei Ohtani signing with XYZ team. This dude had, I think, 100 followers. And all he wrote was update. Shohei Ohtani most likely to go to the Dodgers. Chicago Cubs are the next suitable suitor. XYZ or New York Yankees are out.
Wow,
he had 1 million likes on that.
What?
And then he replied. Someone replied to him and was like, whose source are you? How did you find this out? And he's like, this is what he replied to. Oh, that's just what I think. But dude, if you're reading that, like, going through like stuff and like you're like going fast on Twitter, if you read like update and then Shohei Ohtani, like it shows a little bit more authenticity, right? Because it's not like rumors here; it says update. So it's like, oh, that captures my like eye. I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious, but like that's kind of like the concept here, right?
The Yankees have like way too much money to like they would never, like they will always be like the only way he wouldn't go is if he just
didn't want to go. Yeah, didn't want to go.
Yeah, like the Yankees have like so much fucking money.
I just like I like the old Ken Griffey Jr. quote about the Yankees. Can you remember that?
Oh yeah. I'll retire.
He's like, if the only team left that was available to sign me was the Yankees, I'd retire.
What year was that?
God, it's like late 90s, right?
But it was all based off of an instance that he had at the ballpark as a kid with his dad playing for the Yankees because he was out on the field like at practice or pregame or whatever. Ken Griffey Jr. was with his dad on the team, and they told him no kids on the field, no family, and blah blah blah. And made him take his kids in, but then later on he saw one of the not to make the show racial or whatever, but he saw one of the white players that was a little bit more famous, had his kids out there, nobody was saying shit. And so he logged that away and was like, fuck this organization, basically. He's like, there's no way I'll ever play for them after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That, man. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, dude. And
Fair enough.
He's the player of the 90s. Like,
and I didn't even know about that. I saw that quote, I guess I knew of it like more recently, but I didn't know the whole backstory on it. I heard the quote a lot, and then I actually was like, I wonder why. And then I kind of dug or looked into it. And there's another, he did an interview where he actually explained it and stuff like that. And he's just like, yeah, would never go back. He's like, I just felt respected.
And that was awesome because he was still a Mariner at the time. And everyone would talk about, oh, he's going to go to the Yankees. He's going to the Yankees. That was back in the day when people didn't really
there was no internet. Like there was nobody like us talking into a camera.
Right.
It's like
Fedora said there's no internet. Me and Jace were getting it off the what was it, we're getting off the fax machine.
We were on the landline.
There
wasn't a dude in a pizza shop screaming.
You'd sit there and listen to that long connection, dial tone, and everything.
Yeah, I know. But man, I mean, I remember, dude, Jason, remember seeing this at that Ballard comic book shop, and he was selling for $25, and people were buying it for $25 back in the day.
That Thor book.
Yeah, the Thor book, and it actually moved a little bit after that episode of season 1 where he shows up as Kid Loki, and it held from what I saw.
As Kid Loki,
it was still kind of a confusing character in the show, but there's been fan mock-ups of him being part of the Young Avengers, and I don't think it really resonates with the story of the comic books. But
if I was gonna put any money into any Asgardian children, it would be the ones from Strange Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Max Sin. I had my Griffey Jr. baseball game on N64.
I was thinking that
Super Nintendo, man.
Still one of the best baseball games ever.
Ever, man. Any Griffey baseball, dude. Ever, dude. last but not least, so you guys were someone was talking about Young Patriot earlier in the chat, and I'm actually okay with that spec. I know a lot of people shit on this Young Avengers #1 or just the series in general. I really enjoyed this Young Avengers series. I thought it was really well drawn. I thought it was really a really cool story. I'm not high on it because the price point's pretty expensive, but 90s are going for $300. If at the time, like 5 to 10 years from now, if Young Avengers really does pop off and we're totally wrong on like our assessment of that, these books could go up quite a bit in price. And you have about 15 different first appearances in this book. So if you're a first appearance hitter, this might not be a bad buy to kind of just get 9.8, tuck on your wall. I'm not mad at it at 250. 300's a little bit not where I want to be, but what y'all think about this? One, did you guys read the series and did you like it? And then two, what do you guys think of this spec?
At the time that was coming out, I was reading a lot of trades. What year did that come out? Like 2012, right?
2011 or what?
Yeah,
something like that, right?
2011.
Let me double check. Because I remember seeing this in like a comic book store when I was like in college. I swear. Hold on. Publication. 2005.
Yeah. I wasn't.
2011, 2005. Whatever. It's all good.
Well,
I
I remember when it came out though, but I just my frame of reference is like all crazy.
I
didn't. I was like what in high school at that time. I was like Young Avengers. That was like whatever. I wasn't even a fan of the Avengers because at that time, Justice League was like really big. The Justice League Unlimited, the Justice League Unlimited show was airing, the regular Justice League show. So like the Paul Dini, the Batman the Animated Series universe was like still very much relevant in the form of the Justice League at that time. So I was just like, this is kind of corny.
Yeah.
And I was still reading Valiant comics shit back then too. So.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I was really about Valiant comics for a really long time.
Damn, yeah. I mean, I was too, like, for a bit. Yeah, I have three of these myself. I got them for like 50 to 75. Got 9.8. So I was like, yeah, I'll probably sell one just to kind of pay for the other ones. But I like the spec. Jason, have you read this book or series? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's fun, right? For sure.
Yeah, it's a nice little. I mean, it makes sense that they're starting to introduce it too, seeing as how like in the books they are kind of the one that takes on Kang. So
I feel like the better spec would be like Young Justice if they ever do like a Young Justice movie or a show or anything related. They get something Young Justice related.
I want
DC?
Dark Justice. I want Dark Justice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, DC.
I was like,
do they have a Young Justice comic or like a Young?
Yeah,
they do.
I want the Dark Justice though.
Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
That's supposed.
I'd like to see that, especially if they do like Etrigan and like those guys and have them be in it. I'd like to see the Demon Etrigan and.
I'm pretty sure James Gunn is gonna do that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see shit we never thought we would see.
Yeah,
just really weird, obscure, offbeat shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like Creature Commandos and freaking.
Yeah, the Authority.
I hope so.
Yeah, the Authority. Everybody's like
good.
the Authority, and I'm like, if you guys liked Guardians of the Galaxy, like this is gonna be.
There was a lot of college students that came in that just bought. They all bought Authority books, and I'm like, why are you guys?
Authority is so good. 13.
And then they're like, James Gunn, man, you don't like James Gunn? And I'm like,
13 through 25, man. I will. That run is way better than the 1 through 12 in my opinion. But that's just me. Frank Quietly on the art too is like interesting.
No, Frank Quietly draws crazy, bro. I can't get down with him.
For some reason, I like his art. I don't know why, but
a lot of people say that, but he drew Cyclops crazy, bro. He had like
he did definitely
noggin,
drew.
Bro.
He looked like a Walking Dead, like zombie.
His head looked like a bullet.
Are you talking about in the like as it goes forward into the newer like Secret Wars and stuff like that?
Yeah, bro, it looked crazy.
Even Mr. Fantastic, like Reed Richards, I remember seeing him in that like the futuristic one. He had that weird space helmet thing on, and I was like, "Who the hell is that?" I was like, it looked like he was like a xenomorph from Alien or something. I was like,
"Oh God, the Thinker or the Maker?" I mean,
Yeah, but it was like Reed Richards or whatever. It was like
Yeah.
his variant or whatever from some other.
That shit. I must be stupid because I just can't. I can't wrap my mind around.
Yo,
a
what's this
different
other
Reed
book right
Richards.
here?
Oh, this is Cataclysm 3, homie. This is a very underrated book, and
I've never seen it.
So it's a mini series. Obviously, it's the 3rd issue. I actually have a 9.8 in this, signed by Miko Soyan. It's like a $3 dollar bin book, but has such a integral event happen for MCU. So in this book, Miles enters into the 616.
Okay, makes sense.
People shit on me for that spec, and you know,
but
whatever.
they gotta get Miles into the MCU.
You gotta get an MCU.
So maybe the Sony verse, maybe the Across the Spider-Verse, because they teased the live action.
Yeah, with
maybe
Homebro in it. Yep.
The movie Miles is gonna go into the live action world.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and
I'm just
this,
that.
Well,
that,
no,
that's
you're
that's a stretch.
that would be perfect. I mean, that would be perfect, right? It would hit all those angles. You know what I mean?
Well, and with the multiverse, like you have to assume that that's part of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like a crazy stretch, in my opinion.
But it would make sense though. Like people would go crazy if Miles went from cartoon to freaking real life, and they did it like clean. That would look so sick.
If he was like staring, like all of a sudden at the end of like maybe Spider-Verse 3 or something like that, he's staring at a freaking tear in the thing or whatever, and it's like the actual you see real world over there, and he just kind of like passes,
gets in, and like he's like becomes like a real person. Dude, that'd be so sick. Well, that's what happens in the. I mean, that's not what happens in this book.
That's what happens. Motherfucker's real by the end of it. You get a real Miles Morales.
You got a picture at the end of this book. But basically, I mean, like if you go off of events, right? This is like I don't know, man. He's, you can't deny it. Miles is the future of the MCU. He's the future Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's he's the Ken Griffey of Marvel.
And then after that is Spider-Punk, right on the.
And then Spider-Punk, right? Spider-Punk's like, yeah. Have you guys ever seen this book before?
Nah, I don't even.
I've talked about it before in the past. Jason, have you remember this book, right?
Yeah. I've seen it covered.
Galactus is in it, right?
Galactus is like he's like the main villain in the whole series. But I only read 1 through 4, I want to say.
That's my man's Galactus.
Yeah. But Galactus, it's a pretty cool story.
Galactus spec.
Galactus spec is cool. I mean, Galactus is like a Bronze or Silver Age character. I think it's good. It's never bad to spec on him.
What's the first appearance though of Galactus? As I bet that
like
crazy.
$400. Like Fantastic Four or something or other.
4. I don't know. Chat probably knows better than me.
Chat, hit me with the price.
For the first
Just
Galactus?
hit me with the price. Just hit me with the price. Yeah.
First Galactus mid-grade first Galactus mid-grade is probably like $4 or $5 grand.
Oh, get the fuck out of here! Never mind.
It's I think it's Fantastic Four number 40 something.
The first appearance of Mephisto. That's a good one. Silver Surfer 3.
200, 300 for that book.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, that's a comic collector's like book right there. So I'm not mad at it. Well, that's our show for today, guys. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming through. Again, apologies for like kind of the weird scheduling and all that, but yeah, I gotta get some.
Yo, next week we should do the Gen Z show. We should get like Sweet Tooth, The Boys, all that other stuff.
Don't tell everybody, man. We gotta surprise them. I'm just playing.
I mean, we already spoke about it.
I know. I'm messing with you, dog. I'm just kidding, man.
Hey, that's next week's show. That's next week's show.
Before we leave, man, what are you eating?
I was eating like pizza. I was at the pizza shop.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good
I mean, I give it like out of 10, I give it a 4.5.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's so funny, but
because you're like, yeah, it's pretty good, like out of a 10, I give it like I was thinking like an 8 or like you
get the fuck out of here.
You dogged on it like big time, dog.
Anyway. Somebody's actually trying to get 4,300 for the first Galactus in a raw.
In a raw, get the fuck
and it's like
out of here.
It's beat down the spine too. It's like got stress lines like all the way down.
That's That's COVID prices. That's COVID prices. The dude thinks everybody's still wearing masks and shit.
Like you can get there's a 7.0 here for just under $3,000, $29.50.
You see, there we go. That guy's a little bit more reasonable, but $3,000.
That's crazy, man. You don't want to sell. You don't want to sell.
That's crazy.
All right, guys. Good luck on your fantasy football Sundays today.
Yo, we gotta do another Pokemon show soon.
You hit me up, man. Just let me know and we'll schedule a time.
Yeah, and then this time I'll be inside my house.
You're homeless,
only
though,
for the
dog.
Pokemon show. in this universe, in Earth 1, I'm homeless. Earth 2 is a Pokemon show, so that's like the different Fedora. Yeah, so that's like Earth 2.
All right. With that said, have a good day, y'all. Catch you this week. I'll update stuff and all that for shows and all that stuff. And thanks again, everyone. Take care.